Pedigree of the Marriott family. It begins with about the 8th century AD and goes down to John Marriott, the immigrant. Now it's an hypothesis because I can't prove all the connections, but it's spiritual because I've received inspiration in doing it. So pay attention, don't go to sleep. I'm going to read it to you because I can't remember it. Okay. This research began in about 1965. At that time, I just finished some education at the University of California, and I wanted to do something for the family. So I walked in, I came to Salt Lake, I was living in Los Angeles. I came to Salt Lake and walked in the old Montgomery Ward building. Do you remember that building? That's where the Family History Center was at that time. As I walked into the foyer, I felt the spirits of a host of ancestors. It was remarkable. They beckoned to me to help them. They needed someone to find them. So I started. One of my, excuse me, I contacted Willard Marriott in Washington to find out where he left off on his research. He had covered most of the parish registers in the Northamptonshire area, but little work had been done on the probate work. So I dug into the wills and the probate records, and this is what I found. I found the death record of Thomas Marriott of Wilden, Bedfordshire. I don't know why he got over there. He's on our line. Probably someone in his family had a higher priority and got the land. Anyhow, he's over in Bedfordshire. Next one I found was John Marriott's will of 1708. And he had 2 wives, which was a special thing. Frances Lane, and that's an interesting story of itself, and Sarah. And then I found the will of William, dated in 1499, and his son John, dated 1531. These were critical wills. They had large families. Their families spread throughout southern Northamptonshire. It wouldn't surprise me if they weren't, the seed wasn't throughout the country. Large families, and they spread. If you go into the will records of Northamptonshire, you will find Marriotts all over the place.
Or were they spelled the same?
Spelling in the early days was variable, and so you can't rely on spelling.
Because I've seen M-A-R-Y-A-T.
That's right, and there's a half a dozen different ways the way the records spell it. They didn't have common education in those days. The people who were educated, were the clergy and some of the rich people. No one else could read or write. Okay, so I found those wills. And what they did was they tied the family together. I used some additional records from the parish registers, but I tied the family together to the period of 1499, which is a remarkable thing. I put it all in Family Search, and people keep changing things in Family Search, so you have to watch for that. But I have recently updated it. Hopefully no one has changed it recently. Okay, so they're all there. And then that's where it ends. The parish registers.
So anybody here could go, anybody here